How pangolin farms could change the fight against wildlife trafficking. Pangolins, often referred to as the most trafficked mammal in the world, have long been the focus of global conservation efforts. Their unique scales, sought after for traditional medicine, and their meat, considered a delicacy in some cultures, have pushed these shy, nocturnal creatures to the brink of extinction. While stricter laws and heightened enforcement are essential, an unconventional solution is gaining traction: pangolin farming. Could pangolin farms revolutionize the fight against wildlife trafficking? Or will they bring unintended consequences to an already delicate situation? The crisis of pangolin trafficking. Pangolins are native to Africa and Asia, with 8 species spread across these regions. Over the years, their populations have declined sharply due to poaching and habitat loss. According to estimates, more than 1 million pangolins were trafficked between 2000 and 2019, primarily to meet the demands of black markets in China and Vietnam. Despite international protections under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species (CITES), illegal trade persists due to the high prices pangolins fetch. The global illicit pangolin trade operates through well-organized networks, making enforcement a daunting task. Traffickers take advantage of weak governance in certain countries, porous borders, and an enduring demand driven by cultural beliefs in pangolin scales' medicinal properties. This black market economy has proven resistant to traditional conservation strategies, prompting the exploration of alternative methods. The concept of pangolin farming. Pangolin farming involves breeding these mammals in captivity to meet market demands legally, thereby reducing the incentive to poach them from the wild. Proponents argue that farming could provide a sustainable supply of pangolins and their products, taking the pressure off wild populations. This concept mirrors the approach used with crocodiles, alligators, and even tigers in some parts of the world. Theoretically, pangolin farms could also serve as research hubs, deepening scientific understanding of the species' behavior, diet, and reproduction, areas that remain poorly understood. Moreover, farming could foster economic opportunities for rural communities, creating jobs and reducing dependence on illicit activities. Challenges of pangolin farming. Despite its promise, pangolin farming faces several significant hurdles. Breeding difficulties. Pangolins are notoriously difficult to breed and raise in captivity. They have specialized diets, primarily consisting of ants and termites, which are challenging and expensive to replicate in a farming environment. Their low reproductive rates, with females typically giving birth to a single offspring once a year, make scaling operations difficult. Risk of laundering. Critics fear that pangolin farms could be exploited as fronts for laundering wild-caught pangolins. This has been a significant problem in tiger farms, where legal frameworks intended to regulate farming have been exploited to legitimize poached animals. Without strict oversight, pangolin farming might inadvertently fuel trafficking rather than curb it. Ethical concerns. Farming pangolins raises ethical questions about the commodification of wildlife. Critics argue that normalizing the consumption of pangolin products, even from farm sources, undermines efforts to change societal attitudes toward wildlife exploitation. Conservationists contend that the ultimate goal should be to eliminate demand entirely, not sustain it through farming. Disease risks. The COVID-19 pandemic brought attention to the zoonotic risks associated with wildlife farming. Although pangolins were initially suspected as potential intermediaries for the virus, subsequent studies have not confirmed this link. Nonetheless, keeping pangolins in captivity under crowded conditions could pose health risks to both animals and humans. Potential benefits. Despite these challenges, pangolin farming could provide targeted benefits when implemented responsibly. Conservation breeding. Farming efforts could focus on breeding pangolins for reintroduction into the wild, bolstering depleted populations. This would align farming practices with conservation goals rather than commercial interests. Market disruption. By providing a legal source of pangolin products, farming might disrupt black market economies. Over time, the reduced profitability of trafficking could deter poachers and middlemen from exploiting wild pangolins. Public awareness. Farms open to public education could serve as platforms to raise awareness about pangolin conservation. They might also help shift societal views, highlighting the ecological importance of pangolins and the consequences of illegal trade. Scientific research. Captive breeding programs could significantly enhance scientific knowledge about pangolins. Research on diet, behavior, and reproduction could aid both farmed and wild pangolin conservation strategies. Examples and global efforts. The concept of pangolin farming has seen limited experimentation. In China, some researchers have explored the feasibility of captive breeding, reporting initial success but emphasizing its challenges. However, these efforts are still in their infancy and have not yet demonstrated scalability. Globally, conservationists are working on multi-pronged strategies to save pangolins. These include anti-poaching patrols, community education programs, and collaborations with governments to strengthen enforcement. Organizations like the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, and TRIFI focus on reducing demand through public campaigns, targeting cultural attitudes that perpetuate pangolin consumption. Striking a balance. The idea of pangolin farming lies at the intersection of conservation, commerce, and ethics. Proponents believe it could provide a pragmatic solution to a dire situation, while critics warn it might exacerbate existing problems. The success of farming initiatives would depend on several factors. Regulation and oversight. Effective regulatory frameworks must be established to prevent the laundering of wild pangolins and ensure ethical farming practices. Transparent systems, including DNA tracing, could help verify the origins of pangolin products. Public education. Efforts to shift cultural beliefs about pangolin products are crucial. Without reducing demand, even farmed pangolins may not displace the black market. Campaigns highlighting the ecological role of pangolins and their plight could encourage people to seek alternatives. Focus on conservation. Farming should prioritize conservation over commercialization. Collaborative efforts between governments, NGOs, and private entities could integrate farming with broader conservation goals, such as habitat restoration and anti-poaching initiatives. International cooperation. Wildlife trafficking is a transnational issue requiring global solutions. Pangolin farming, if pursued, must be part of a coordinated international strategy, supported by robust enforcement of CITES regulations and increased funding for conservation projects. Pangolin farms could potentially transform the fight against wildlife trafficking by providing a legal controlled supply of pangolin products and reducing pressure on wild populations. However, the challenges of farming, including ethical dilemmas and risks of abuse, must not be underestimated. A balanced approach, combining farming with education, enforcement, and conservation, might offer the best chance to save pangolins from extinction. The world must tread carefully to ensure that any solutions genuinely protect this unique and vulnerable species, preserving them for generations to come. What are your thoughts on pangolin farming as a solution to wildlife trafficking? Share your views in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into conservation and global wildlife issues. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Drop a comment with your thoughts, and I'll see you at the next one.